Good morning, and it's really a joy to come again, meet you like this, and through this devotion. I would like to begin with a testimony which happened in my life at least 10 years ago. So, when I was doing my master's, it was a new course. So, seniors were saying that the possibility of getting a job after this course is going to be a challenge. But I started praying about it, Lord. When I finish this course, I need a job. That's what I was praying. And I was asking God to help me about it. At that time, God had given me a promise found in 2 Kings chapter 19, verse 29, in which this says, "This will be the sign for you, O Hezekiah. This year you will eat what grows by itself. Second year, what springs from that. But in the third year, sow and reap, plant vineyards and eat their fruits." So it was like 2 years was the master's course. So after which I'm going to get a job. That was the assurance which I had. Plant vineyards, eat your fruit. So I had full assurance that God will give me what He has promised. So, this end of the second year, but I used to pray during the college days regularly. I used to keep saying this promise and asking God about it. And end of the course, most of my friends were getting a job here and there, but I still didn't get a job. But I know God will give me a job because He has promised He will give me. So it was almost June, still no job. So at that time, one of the university in one of the top engineering universities had called for, and we knew an uncle there. So we asked him about it, and he said, "We are only taking PhD candidates." But anyway, she's eligible for the interview, so she can attend the interview. But whether she's going to get a job or all that, we cannot guarantee because we take only PhD candidates. And but so I went for the interview. I gave my best in the interview. And I came to know that during that interview, another around six or some more candidate physics, the particular department faculties were supposed to come, but none of them turned up for the interview. It looks like they had confirmed with the HR the previous day that they would all come for the interview, but on that particular day, nobody had come. And being a new university, being a new branch in Chennai, they were recruiting a lot of faculties, and it was the beginning of the academic year. They need more faculties. So again, though I was in other departments people had come for interview that day, most of them were PhD, submitted thesis, experiences they had, but I was just a fresher, no experience, not a non-PhD student. So but God was faithful, and He, as per His promise, He gave me job in one of the private universities, one of the, almost the best in India. It was one of the highest. So God gave me that possibility. And again, even today, some of my colleagues say, "You are lucky that day nobody turned up." But I know it was not that. It was my God who opened up a way where there seemed to be actually no way. So from this, I would like to draw two things. All this which happened, it's not that I prayed. It's not that I was, I did a interview well. No, it was all in God's greatness. So one thing which I learned during this is God keeps promises. If you actually look in 2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 13, you will find it's written, "If we are faithless, He will remain faithful, for He cannot disown Himself." And again, Hebrews 6 chapter 18, if you could, 6 chapter 18th verse, God did this so that by two unchangeable things in which it is impossible for God to lie. So it is impossible for God to lie. Now, if He has promised, if He has given a word, He will never go back on it. So we see heaven and earth might pass away, but my words will still remain forever. That's what God has said. So we can be assured God is a God who keeps promises. We have read Genesis, we see about Abraham, where God, kept his promise by doing an impossible thing. So similarly, in all of our lives, in some way or the other, we might have experienced God's goodness. So again, it's just to remind you that instead of trusting in your strength, instead of trusting in your situation, instead of trusting in anything else, let us trust in God's word, because God's word will never fail. The second thing is God is a God of impossibilities. Like I said, in that particular interview group, I was the only one who was a fresher and non PhD. But God did it for me. God is a God of impossibilities. So any situation, though it looks like it can never happen, we can be assured our God is there for us to guide us through. And I remember in school our seniors used to always tell us, when we go for this athletics meet and all, they used to say from the life of Peter, when Jesus was walking on the water, Peter also jumped in, wanted to walk on water. As long as his eyes were on Jesus, he was able to walk on water. But when he looked away from it, look at the storms, looking at the wind, he started falling in. So the same thing applies to us. Let us look on, let our eyes be focused on Jesus, the anchor, the lifeline for us, because He is faithful. He is a promise keeping God. He will never leave us nor forsake us. So this new year, as we walk along, we can be assured, whatever situation, not only for materialistic blessing, but our spiritual life, any sin or something which we're still not able to give up, we can be assured. Let us look our eyes on Jesus, our lifeline, our anchor. He will take us safely home. Thank you.